She thought love meant doing everything her parents asked, even if it broke her inside. She smiled when they said she was their perfect daughter. She obeyed when they said, "Don't embarrass us." But behind the praise was control. Behind the affection was guilt. Every decision she made, what to wear, who to meet, what to think, was shaped by two people who claimed they loved her unconditionally. But what happens when love is used as a weapon? What if your parents praise you for being obedient, but shame you for having your own voice? What if every "we only want what's best for you" was a carefully crafted tool to break you silently? This is not just her story. It could be yours. Emotional manipulation is often invisible, especially when it's wrapped in family love. But today, you'll see the cracks. And once you see them, you'll never look at family pressure the same way again. Aisha was the kind of daughter every parent claimed they wanted. She got straight A's, stayed quiet, never talked back, and always asked for permission, even to go outside. But she wasn't like this naturally. It started early. Good girls don't argue. Don't act like those girls. You'll ruin our reputation if you keep behaving like this. Her mother would brush her hair and whisper, "Beta, mommy knows best. You don't need to think so much." When Aisha cried, she was told, "Are you crying again? You're so sensitive. Toughen up. No one likes weak girls." When she laughed too loudly, her father raised his eyes. "Control yourself. You're not a child anymore." And slowly, she started doing what they wanted, saying what they approved, feeling what they allowed. They never hit her, never shouted, never threatened, but they shaped her in silence. Every time she questioned something, they reminded her of the sacrifices they made. "We gave up everything for you, and this is how you repay us." Her mother monitored her clothes. "You think you'll find respect in that shirt? Change it. You're not that kind of girl." Her father checked her texts, then said, "You don't need friends. They're a distraction. You only need us." And over time, she believed it. That obedience was love. That fear was respect. That guilt was normal. In public, they were the ideal family. Loving, supportive, proud. But behind closed doors, a different truth lived. One where freedom was a privilege and control was disguised as care. At 17, Aisha finally made a friend, Sarah. Smart, funny, unapologetically herself. Aisha felt something strange around her. Freedom. Sarah asked her opinion. Listened, didn't judge. But at home, the questions began. Who is she? What kind of family does she come from? You've changed since you started spending time with her. One evening, Aisha laughed at a joke Sarah made. Her mother frowned. "This girl is filling your head. You never used to talk like this." Aisha stopped replying to Sarah's texts. She felt guilty, but also relieved. That was the first crack. Then came college applications. Aisha dreamed of studying psychology. "Psychology?" Her father scoffed. "Do you want to waste our money on that nonsense? You'll become a doctor, like we planned." End of story. That night, Aisha cried herself to sleep, clutching her journal, the only place she could speak freely. She started noticing how much of her life wasn't really hers. Her clothes, her friends, her dreams, her voice. But every time she tried to speak up, the guilt would whisper louder. "They love you. They sacrificed everything. Don't be ungrateful." So she stayed quiet. Her eyes became hollow, her smile mechanical, her thoughts tangled. Teachers noticed her withdrawal, but her parents proudly said, "Our daughter's just focused. She's not like other girls." At family events, relatives praised her silence. So graceful, so well-mannered. No one saw the storm behind her calm. And she didn't even know there was a storm, because when control is wrapped in affection, you start calling your cage a home. She never thought they'd read her diary, but they did. Every word she wrote, her pain, her fears, her need for space, was now exposed. Her mother stood silently. Her father entered behind her, holding her phone. "Is this how you see us?" her mother whispered. "We gave you everything." Aisha couldn't speak. "Ungrateful girl," her father snapped, "crying over nothing. You should be ashamed." Her journal was ripped apart, literally. Page by page, her mother tore it. "These thoughts," she said, "are poison. You don't need to think like this." That night, Aisha stared at her bedroom ceiling, the silence louder than any scream. She thought about running away, not physically, but mentally, and she did. She stopped dreaming, stopped planning, stopped resisting. She became a shell, quiet, present, empty. But one day, she overheard something that shattered what little belief she had left. Her mother on the phone. "Aisha, she doesn't think for herself. She listens to everything we say. We raise her right." That wasn't love. That was control. She realized they didn't love her. They loved the version of her that obeyed, the girl they built, not the one she truly was. After that night, something in Aisha died, not dramatically, quietly, like a candle running out of wax. She stopped writing, stopped asking questions, stopped dreaming. Her mornings became mechanical. Wake up, nod, obey, sleep. Her friends drifted away. Teachers stopped noticing. But her parents? They were proud. She's so mature now. She's finally settled. Inside, she felt nothing. She would stare at the wall for hours, think thoughts that scared her. Maybe I don't deserve to be free. Maybe I'm too weak to think for myself. Every part of her that once felt alive was buried under obedience. They hadn't raised a daughter. They had built a puppet, one that smiled on command and stayed silent in pain. What Aisha experienced is called emotional manipulation. But it's more dangerous when it comes from family because it hides behind love. There was no shouting, no abuse, no violence. Yet she was slowly being erased. Let's break it down. 1. Guilt tripping. Every time she said no, they reminded her of all they had done for her. We sacrificed everything for you. That's not love. That's control through guilt. 2. Enmeshment. Her identity wasn't allowed to form independently. Her choices were seen as threats. In enmeshed families, parents don't see children as separate individuals. They see them as extensions of themselves. So, any sign of independence equals betrayal. 3. Conditional love. We love you as long as you listen. Aisha was trained to believe obedience equals approval, silence equals peace, rebellion equals shame. Slowly, she lost her sense of self. And here's the most chilling part. She didn't even know it was happening. That's how emotional manipulation works. It doesn't break you with force. It breaks you with confusion. One moment you're praised, the next you're punished. Your brain learns to adapt by shutting down your own wants. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. When a person is constantly made to feel that their choices, feelings, or voice don't matter, they eventually stop trying. They surrender their identity. In Aisha's case, even positive emotions were policed. Too much laughter? Tone it down. Too many questions? You're being difficult. Over time, she began to feel guilty just for being herself. And that's the cruelest part of this kind of parenting. It doesn't leave bruises. It leaves invisible scars. Scars no one talks about. Because on the outside, everything looks perfect. But inside, the child is slowly disappearing. Healing didn't come like a lightning bolt. It came in whispers. One day, Aisha walked past a mirror and didn't recognize the girl staring back. Not because she'd changed, but because she had never been allowed to be herself. That day, she didn't argue, didn't scream. She simply opened a blank notebook and wrote her first honest sentence in years. I don't know who I am, but I want to find out. It wasn't rebellion. It was reclamation. She started saying small no's, quietly expressing what she liked, what she didn't. Her parents noticed. At first, they called it attitude, then selfishness. But she didn't stop, because for the first time, she realized love shouldn't feel like fear. And being a daughter didn't mean being silent. She didn't leave home. She didn't destroy anyone. She simply chose herself. And sometimes that's the bravest thing a person can do. A small choice, a quiet voice, a single step away from the shadows towards something real. Maybe you know someone like Aisha. Maybe you are Aisha, living in a home where love is conditional, where being good means staying silent, where every choice you make is filtered through fear. Emotional manipulation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet guilt, the passive pressure, the sentence that ends with, "But we only want what's best for you." If you grew up always trying to earn love, you were taught something wrong. Love isn't earned by erasing yourself. It doesn't demand obedience. It celebrates growth. Your voice matters, even if it trembles. Your no matters, even if it's small. You don't have to scream to reclaim yourself. Just start by listening to the part of you that's been silent for too long. And if the story touched you, share it. Someone out there needs to hear this. And if you've ever felt trapped inside a perfect family, just know it's not disloyalty to choose yourself. It's survival. Until next time, stay aware, stay strong, and never confuse control with love.